There we go. All right. Good morning. Good morning, everybody. Today is Monday, May 6, 2024. My guest is in the background laughing at me already. That is the one thing, y'all, that the number one thing that I remember about not coming off of mute was Elizabeth Warren for 23 minutes and no sound, not an absolute peep. So we redeemed ourselves from that. And so I'm here this morning with someone, and we're going to talk about meditation. When we first started out 4 years ago, Monday was a strong mental health Monday theme. We have gotten away from that. We go back to it every now and then. And so in that spirit, I'm going to ask you to do what we used to do is do me a favor. Let's check in with the Java fam. And as we used to do, put one word in the comments that describes how you're feeling today for our Mental Health Monday. While you're doing that, I have to shout out Pure Spark, Naisha Deed, who is not a stranger to the Java Cafe. We've collaborated and come together for every Monday for the month of May. As it is Mental Health Awareness Month, we are bringing in different mental health providers every Monday. And so, Dr. Brandy and I would come in. She's not a mental health provider, but this month, we are having actual clinicians. We were very transparent that Dr. Brandy's a doctorate in credentials is in research and education, but she moves in the mental health space. And so we're glad for everything that she has been contributes through Dee Dee's Cry and things like that. But one of our partners, Pure Spark, is largely responsible for our guest being with us today. And so I am getting ready to bring her in, but I'm going to I'm going to ask you to do me a favor and go ahead and hit the share button, tag someone, and invite them to be a part of the Java Cafe. Shout out to Planet Patrol and also a few folks, brother Chris, life coach Chris over on Instagram. Meredith just joined as well. Gigi that just joined as well on Instagram. Invite somebody in, hit that share button and share the live with them. Without further ado, I would like to bring in our guest this morning. Her name is Yera Gomez.
You did it again.
Yera, you just listen. When I took you off of camera, right? I walked in, I got some water, and I was like, Geronimo. Good morning.
Oh my goodness. Well, this is a great example of what happens 99% of the time when people can't really get my name right. So it's all good. Here we are. So
listen, I'm about 99% of always messing up. It's terrible. So don't take it personal. Two, go ahead and you say it and we'll get it right.
My full name is Yera Gomez, and I go by Yera because it is a difficult one out here in these streets. And I try to make it a little easier for people, and clearly it's still a challenge, but it's all good.
You said nice clearly. Okay. You just threw me under the bus a little bit. Clearly.
It's all love. It's all love. Oh my God. I love that we practiced it and yet here we are.
So. I literally went and I was like, Geronimo. I was confident. I was pouring. And I'm like,
I even put it in the notes, like the pronunciation and everything.
And there I said Yera. But I have a good friend named Yahida, and we used to call her Yahida. Yeah, and so that was my point of reference. But getting to the point at hand. I was trying to meditate on your name and I obviously failed. um,
It's all good. It's a
tremendous.
process.
It
That's why
is.
we call it a process.
You better go ahead and go right into the work right now. So, folks that don't know, we're talking meditation this morning. But before we get into the conversation, oh Jesus, Ja- Jera. No,
I'm just gonna be yeah, you did it phenomenal. Do you wanna it's a 10 out of
Jera.
10. You got it.
So, Jera, tell us. You know what? You're not going to do me this morning. I'm gonna have to have Naisha
Happy
beat.
Monday,
Uh,
everyone. Happy Monday. This is the
you
first Monday of May, right?
Yeah, and you did not transition me real quick like that. But no, in all seriousness, tell us about yourself. You definitely have an engaging and charismatic spirit, but how did you get into this place of guiding folks in meditation as a point of stress relieving? Let's just
Mhm,
name and say that our world is pretty stressed right now, especially our young people on college campuses, no matter where you stand on the
mhm.
issue. There's a lot going on. And so this is why we invite you to share this with folks and invite folks into the room because we're coming up on an election and just life be life. And so
Life is life all the time,
tell us
and
about
it's
you. Who are you? And you're not
yeah.
clearly Jida.
Don't keep saying it. Oh my goodness. So yeah, I this thank you so much, first of all, for this space, for everything that you do for our community. I'm very grateful. I just learned about your work, and it is very inspiring. So thank you for all that you do and the way that you show up for us.
Yes, ma'am.
Um, yeah. So when I was in college, I studied abroad in Thailand for a semester, and Thailand is a Buddhist, for the most part, predominantly Buddhist country, and they have a Buddhist philosophy for life in general, and that really shifted things for me. Coming from just a completely different background and culture, and that was the first time that I really immersed myself within that space. And when I got back, I knew that something was going to change, that I wanted to incorporate what I had just learned. And slowly but surely, I was led to different spaces. And right after college, I started working at a spa. It was like a mind, body, spirit spa. And I started practicing yoga, and meditation was part of my job description, to learn all of the things that we offered. And I fell in love with this practice because of the just a different way. It offered me a different way of relating to myself and to people around me and to the world. And I didn't know how I was going to do it. It seemed so complex to me when I first began. Like, how am I going to narrow this down so that people can actually benefit from it? But I've been in it for since then. So we're talking 12 years now. And I sat with many teachers, so many teachers, like thousands of hours at this point of studying. And yeah, it's something that I cannot live without at this point, and that I
Mhm.
am very passionate about sharing because of how it has improved my life and just my overall well-being. And everyone that I've met in this space, also, I can see the changes that it has offered folks. So it is very powerful. Yeah.
You see one of my favorite words, which is impact. You see the impact of your study and your research and your practice. And so let's jump in. You are well informed at different modes of meditation just based on what you said, doing it for 12 years. So, by that definition, can you give me a layman's term, definition in a layman's term sort of way of what is meditation? Because you can have folks out there that thinks it's something spooky. I grew up in church in a
Yes.
Christian, Judeo-Christian background, and outside of meditating on the word both day and night,
Mhm,
meditation had seemed very Eastern and spooky.
mhm,
Two, it is now a very stated, quote unquote, almost in some cases trendy, sort of
mhm.
practice where, if you're not doing it right, it just, what is meditation by your definition?
So, and I love that you started this way. So there is no way to do this practice incorrectly. That's number one. So there's no way to do it wrong. There's no way to get it, there's no way to perfect it. It's literally something. So prayer is a form of meditation. Any single time,
Thank
or
you.
any time that yes, absolutely.
Let's
It's a
go.
form of meditation. So whenever we and especially now with so many distractions that we have in our lives, and for our generations, we are constantly bombarded by information. We are constantly doing something. It's like the art of just being and looking at the sky, or maybe even the ceiling or whatever, is has been lost. And so what meditation offers us is space to really just be with ourselves, to be with what is, whether you are praying, whether you are noticing body sensations, whether you are looking at the trees, or maybe something that really captivates you. It's even being bored and staring into space, sometimes listening to music that really supports our nervous system. There's so many ways that we can practice meditation. It can be cooking, it can be sipping on a coffee or tea or water. There's going on a walk, right? So, here we are. Let's whenever
Yours is
we do
probably
these,
water. Mine's a coffee,
it is
but
water with, like, yeah, a few other things in there, but yeah. But it's really when we do whatever we're doing and we're fully there. And yeah, so I'll leave it at that, and we can kind of go deeper into it, because I see your face and you have some questions.
I'll be very transparent. I think I had told the team, the audience, or I was talking in some environment, and one of my exes asked me, like, "Yo, when do you turn off? When do
Mm,
you not think? When are you not busy?" And people often, and I mean, from being at an event and talking to someone, and literally one person will say hi, and before I know it, I literally have shifted
mhm,
conversation in the middle of a sentence and talking to someone. And so that
mhm,
sort of sporadicness and whatnot is interesting, for me. And so I have so many questions. But
mhm,
I want to go back to one thing that you said, that there's no wrong way of doing it.
mhm,
I really think it's important that we bring folks at a base
mhm,
level, to where they can understand and maybe become curious today, reach out to you, or do their own
mhm.
research, and quote unquote, I was getting ready to say do it right, but that's,
Yeah,
you
I
can't
know,
say
we're
that.
so ingrained. It's something that's part of our programming, the being right or wrong, the bad, the good. It's very congratulations, you are a human being. It's part of who we are, right? Yeah.
You're
And so would you say?
what I did say was I didn't like you, because you're real and you call it out, and I actually love you. So you're kind of dope. But go ahead. I'm going to shut up and just, and at some
Yeah.
point I would like us to, I'm sure you did this during Zoom, you may still practice it now. I want to do something before we leave. I want to practice something, a form of meditation that we can expose
Absolutely.
folks to right now. So you told us what meditation is. I gave a whole bunch of feedback. Where does
Mhm,
one begin if they want to get on the journey of, let me just also put out a wisecrack. You did say
mhm.
that meditation is spending time with yourself. I think that's maybe why some of us don't do some
Right,
of
as
us
you sip on your tea or whatever you're drinking or sipping
about
on.
me. Yes.
Absolutely.
Yep.
Well, that's the whole premise, right? So why is something that is literally accessible to us all the time, and yet there's many of us, and no one has this perfected, and yet we tend to not go there, right? We don't give ourselves that space oftentimes, because whatever else that we have made up in our minds is more important than just being with what is. And then we go a little bit further into it, where it's like, what are we avoiding to feel? What are we not looking at within ourselves? What is it that is perhaps triggering us from our different relationships, from work, from just all the ways that we're pulled into our everyday lives? So once we build the capacity, so it's something that we build capacity for. I always tell people, if you're new at this, just start with 5 minutes. It is 5 minutes. I have, and I'll share that later as well, I have guided meditations online that are easily accessible. We live in a time where, yes, there's so much distraction, and we can also use the resources that we have so readily available to us whenever we want, whether it's before sleep or before a really big deal, that something like this where, nerves are up and we need to calm down, or maybe there's a presentation, or maybe we're having a really difficult conversation with someone we care about, or maybe someone that we don't really care about, but we actually need to talk it out. So all of these things, and life is going to keep lifing. It's just going to continue becoming more of what it is. And what changes within this, and that quote, it's like, be the change you wish to see, from
Yeah.
Gandhi, that the Gandhi once said. That's where it starts. It's okay, if I need to deal with hard life, like just being life being as hard as it is, and knowing that we can do hard things, how can I build my capacity to be with the difficult parts? Because it's never going to go away. It's not about, let's just, get rid of all the difficulties in our life. That's what would we be here for then? Right? The
Yes.
challenges are there to support us in growing, and to interact with each other and build community and love and grow, right? All the things we know that are true in this world, despite all of the things that make it really chaotic.
It's
So
so
yeah,
interesting.
yeah.
I wanted to
Hmm.
chime in and say and correlate a past subject that we've had with a life coach. And I just want to acknowledge and give Pure Spark a shout out. Asia, who is a member of the Java family, keeps referring to the fact that I keep getting life coaches when seeking or searching for BIPOC therapists. And so Asia, hit Pure Spark, go to the website, inbox Naisha, and she has a plethora, a
Hmm.
myriad, a variety of diverse, of color, BIPOC providers. So I just wanted to put that plug there since that's one of our partners today. And so a past subject that we talked about, this young woman called Coach Meg, she talked about a concept called integration. And it's similar to what you just said around the fact that life is still going to life. The things that stress us out, the things that cause life sometimes to be chaotic aren't necessarily going to stop. They may go through a roller coaster of impact. And so this thing of integration, what she said was, it's not a defeating thing. It's not a thing we just accept the negative and the bad and not do anything about it. But what we do is we integrate the reality of sort of it is what it is. What I'm
Hmm.
hearing from you is this is a tool that helps with the integration and the impact of that, what you're integrating. Because some of, as you said, the life that be life in be real.
Hmm.
May not be the best vernacular, but
Yes,
so
it is.
I just wanted to name that
Hmm.
you're giving us a skill set around a subject that we've talked about before, and you're reiterating what she said from as
Hmm.
simple as life be lifing, and the chaos and the things, they're just not necessarily going to plateau.
Right. And we often think that by escaping it or numbing from it will kind of get us through it, but it puts us in a place where we have less resources to move through the difficulties.
Mhm.
And when we start to notice, like, oh, I'm feeling depleted today, or I'm a little bit overwhelmed, or I didn't get enough sleep and I'm tired and now I'm craving a lot of sugar, or whatever the thing is, it could be so many different things, right? By noticing what's happening within ourselves, we're better able to show up for each other. We're better able to have a conversation where we're actually listening to what the person has to say, and where there's it almost like it creates a little bit more of a just like of a cushion, and we're
Mhm.
not so easily taken by our triggers, because we're going to always be. I thought at one point, in the beginning of all of this, I was like, so how am I going to get rid of everything? I need to heal everything that I get triggered by, and that's not it's kind of not impossible. I need nothing is impossible, right? But in a way, if we approach it differently, where, okay, I'm doing this so I can build capacity to do hard things,
Mhm.
I think it shifts the intention a little bit. It's not about running away or making things change, because in fact, it's not about doing it right. Or, we often hear, like, let's quiet the mind. It's not about quieting the mind. It's actually just about noticing, what is the mind doing? Because the mind is going to mind, and it's going to have all the thoughts. And guess what? One of the things that we learn in meditation is that we are not our thoughts. We're actually not our thoughts. We're actually not our feelings. We're not even this technically, if we want to get really deep with it, we're not even this body, right? We're here for an experience. So there is a part of us that is witnessing everything that's happening from a place where it's all, we are, what is it that I'm trying to say? And how can I say it that it doesn't sound,
Say it.
uh, like, very woo woo? Because I think it's
Did you say
learning
very
how,
cool?
yeah, people be like,
Very
"Huh?"
deep. Say deep. Say deep.
Right? It's connecting with a part of us that's always observing our experience, to keep it
I
simple.
love it. Listen, I love the way you framed it. So I referenced to the fact that, I grew up in a Christian background, and that belief is a lot of people say mind, body, spirit. In the Christian background, there's a belief that it's body, soul, and spirit. And we do
Okay.
well. Generally, attention wise, we give attention to the body. Some folks exercise, eat right, da 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 da.
Mhm.
Some folks practice different type of things to fortify their spirit. But I would say that meditation moves in the realm of the soul. And
Mhm.
often we don't do well at treating the soul. And I referenced earlier that meditation has become trendy, and people, and I'm guilty of it. I'm practicing self care. I'm drinking my water. I'm doing all of this, but we're not really doing it for many reasons. And so, to move us along just a little bit, I'll share that um, two things that I practice when I'm extremely nervous or know that I'm like about to go there. I sit and do the 10, 12, 15. Hold my
Mm.
breath 10 seconds, inhale over 10 seconds, hold my breath for 10 seconds, and then exhale over 10 seconds. Then I do it
Mm.
at a 12 count. Then I do it at a 15 count. I don't know if you know these names, Dr. Greg Friccione and Theodore Stern. They're like psychosomatic
Okay.
psychiatrists.
Yeah, no.
They're in like all the textbooks. Um, he told me that literally, now let me say this right, physiology,
Physiological.
yeah, that one.
Mhm.
Yeah. It you almost cause your body, you deny your brain just a teeny bit of oxygen and doing that, and your body kind of resets. And that works for me. The other
Yeah.
thing is I've tried breathing, which is a part of meditation, where you focus on the coolness of the air when it's going
Mhm.
in and the warmness of the air going out, no matter where you are or what
Yeah.
you're doing or what's going on, you can breathe. Well, that's a whole, we don't want to get into some other stuff. But I just wanted to say that the journey for people may start in different ways. And so maybe let's talk about one you named that, and this was one of my struggles. The mind doesn't stop. So I just thought when I went and sat there and I was trying to clear I was like, I wanted everything to leave my mind and I didn't want to think about anything,
Yeah.
but I think that's impossible to not
Mhm.
think about anything. As you said, the mind is going to mind. And so, how does one begin to get on a journey that's at their level that I think you would agree that would leave them the best experience where they're not disappointing themselves with the goals that they set based on what we've been
Mhm.
conditioned to. I'm sorry, you. This is good. Go ahead.
Yeah,
I'll shut
I
up.
hear you. Yeah, thank you so much for sharing all of that, and I'm so proud of you for using your breath in moments that you need.
Mhm.
So, yeah, I there's so many ways that I can go about it, and I'm trying to go a way that
Now
it
you know
actually
how I
ends.
feel as a host often. Yeah, yeah.
Right? I know, you have a tough job. So yes, one of the things that I wanna mention, as we're discussing all these things is that when we're in a really heightened state, so when we're super stressed, it can sometimes be hard to very difficult and actually sometimes not even, um, recommended to just be like, "Okay, let me just sit and just, you know, be with whatever is happening when we're in a really heightened state." Because there's so many people that can support us through these practices. We also have to take into account that there can be so many other factors if you're in a safe environment or not, if there are so many factors involved. However, if you're going at this, which I would highly encourage you to do this to start your practice, and it's never going to be the perfect time to start, right? Because you want to start now if possible, is to just make sure that you're not in a space where you don't feel like you want to make sure that you feel safe first. That's first
Okay.
and foremost,
Yes,
right?
ma'am.
If you are completely like just as we call it, like dysregulated, you want to be able to like maybe go outside, walk, maybe move your body a bit, call a friend, a therapist, or someone, a professional in your life if you are feeling to a place where you don't feel like you're very much in control. Okay. And so if you're just beginning this practice and wanting to quote unquote, but not, it's not about getting it right, but you want to really start to implement like, okay, how can I use this in my everyday life that will actually lead me, like you said earlier, to my goals and to feeling a little bit more grounded? Because that's what we want for the most part to feel when we practice something like meditation. So I highly recommend a guided practice. Sometimes doing it ourselves and like following the numbers, we can kind of get lost in that. Like, oh my
Mhm.
God, did I count to 10? Some people need to start at 5 because some people will walk through their entire lives without knowing how to properly breathe. So that's a whole conversation. And that's why when you come to a class, like I teach a restorative practice, which is we're moving through like very gentle stretches and we hold them for a long time. And that's where I kind of bring in more meditative practices into. So that way it's like building blocks, right? So we're not just like, checklist, because then it's like we're adding another checklist, another thing to the
Yep,
checklist. You know what I'm saying?
I do.
Right. So maybe it's 1 minute that you begin with. Set that 1 minute to literally not looking at your phone, not look at your phone, not do anything that's outside of you, and literally just the 1 minute, time yourself. And maybe you don't even have to close your eyes, but maybe you notice the chair that you're sitting in. Maybe you're laying in your bed and you're noticing, like, my feet are where they are. And I'm feeling either if you have socks on, if you don't, if you're feeling whatever you are, like wherever you are in the space that you're in, maybe you just notice where your body is in space. Proprioception, like where is my body in space? Maybe I notice a plant in my room or something that really resonates right now with me. That practice will start to, maybe you'll be like, oh, the minute went by so quickly, and I'm just starting to kind of notice the leaf and the little, all the things that make the leaf. So it can
What
seem very
can I
basic, but
jump
you
in
might
and ask?
yeah.
Because you got me excited. What
Yay.
observation? What does that do? What you just described is what I've
Mm,
interpreted as some folks saying being present.
sure.
In
Yes.
that, what is the benefit of that? Because
Yeah.
I'll be honest, for a quick second, I mean, I know the leaf is there. I can see my plant.
Right,
It's
right. And
green.
you're like, what's the point of that?
I mean, I'm not saying it like that. But what is the
Yeah,
benefit that we get
yeah,
from in the
great
real
question.
time of being actual
Yeah.
present?
Exactly. So one of the very beautiful parts of all of our bodies is our nervous system. And that is made up of the parasympathetic nervous system, the sympathetic nervous system. You may have heard this before.
Oh,
Yes.
teach, come
And
on.
what ends up what part of the process, because it's so many things, if we could understand, if we really break it down, and this is obviously something that people can study and learn about and read about, there are so many things that happen when we start to do these practices, like within ourselves, even though they are so subtle, so nuanced. And maybe in the beginning, you're like, what is the point? And why am I doing this? The more that you do it, that 1 minute will then turn to the 5 minutes, and then it'll turn to the 10 minutes. And maybe sometimes, maybe one day it'll be the 20 minutes. And you'll start to even crave it at one point. At this point in my life, I crave that time where I don't have to be a mom. I don't have to be an entrepreneur. I don't have to be anything but be me and myself and that's it, with whatever that comes with on that given day. So we are back to the nervous system. When we are go, 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 we know that energy where it's like the list is never ending, the time, the deadlines, the this, the that, and that. It's pausing that when we're in that state where it's like high cortisol, we are literally the stress responses in our body are activated. They are on. They're on.
Mm,
When we start to do these practices that we're like noticing the leaf, we're noticing where we are in space, we're noticing our breath, we're noticing the thoughts that are coming up, we start to activate the part of us that is literally in charge of supporting our relaxation response. So the body will start to digest food better. It'll start to sleep better. It'll start to be able to feel more calm. So, you know, the spaces between breath, between the thoughts, they will become a little bit longer sometimes. So the thoughts are going to always be there, but those spaces in between one and the other, there's going to be more of a little bit of a space. I'm just going to
Now,
call
what
it a
happens
space.
in that space? Got him. You know, I'm like, see how conditioned I am. I'm like, wait a minute, there's going to be a space where there's no thought. Like what?
Not that there's no thought, maybe that there's just a, maybe instead of like 0.5 seconds between one thought and the next, maybe it's 0.8. And it's not even about like, oh, I've reached the longer space in between. It's not even about that, because the outcome when you come out of those spaces, and if you've ever practiced it, and I encourage all of you to come to a class, because I honestly will let you know, will tell you that colors seem brighter. Things just feel a little bit more, I don't know what it's just more settled. It's more settled within myself. I'm able to speak clearer, have just better conversations. I can think. My level of actual productivity is increased because now this time that I've taken to slow down a bit gives me the ability to then better, like I said earlier, it to better show up for all of the other things. So on a physiological level, there's brain function, like our brain function, our brain, the anatomy of our brain is altered, it's changed. There are benefits to our immunity. So our immune function, our immune systems are boosted by meditation, which is this is all proven, right? The production of serotonin and endorphins, which we get a lot often through exercise, that's going to also come through these practices. And like I said earlier, improved sleep. I mean, I think if any human right now could say, most likely that we need a little bit more sleep, better sleep, deeper sleep, longer hours of sleep, and this will all support that. Yeah. And then there's the heart health as well, where our blood pressure lowers and our heart rate lowers, which for a lot of us, a lot of people in our community, that is something that I know a lot of my elders are on medication for those things. How cool is it to do something that is completely accessible to us whenever we choose it, that can support us in that? It doesn't mean that we might not need that eventually, but at least we are doing something right now to support that process.
This is it's very interesting. I had put a comment up earlier. I said this might quickly turn into a session for just me and you, and forget about the audience. But there's so many things that you're speaking to that folks that are in public serving spaces rather
Mhm.
access. The team has been trying to get me to limit my access, like get a different phone number, and it's only for certain people. And when that other phone goes off, and this whole thing of logging off, and what you speaking to some things, because it is stressful. A lot of that
Mm,
mind constantly always going is not totally me driven.
absolutely.
It's the other stuff.
Abs-
You know what I mean?
yeah.
And so this is good. And so I would like to, you gave a lot of context in a
Mhm,
philosophy behind maybe starting meditation.
mhm,
You did give a couple of points of practice to where, and let's maybe just review them real quick. Maybe start with 1 minute to where you literally don't look at the phone. I would presume silence might be, or maybe your favorite music.
mhm.
I have been killing when I want to get in a certain space and whatnot. I've been killing Andre 3000's latest album, and
Okay.
then also putting on like a waterfall on YouTube and mixing those. And so for some, it may be that. That for me
Yeah.
indicates that I am intentional around creating a relaxing environment that works for me. So it may be
Yeah.
silent. And so would we say that maybe start off with a time again? I want to be specific here and say where we set goals that some in this space of improvement, we sometimes set goals that aren't really attainable in the beginning because we're not conditioned. And then if we don't do it on Monday, it's like, oh, give up. I'm going to start again on Monday. Next Monday, 4 days go by. Next Monday comes. I'm speaking, I'm testifying here. And you never do it. And
Mhm.
so that's why I'm intentional about highlighting that you're being real about making realistic or setting realistic expectations in starting this. So maybe start with the minute. Oh, no, no, let me back up. Be safe because some of these life chaotic situations might happen in an environment where you can't, it's not appropriate for you to sit. No, you need to go and
It
do
could be
what.
laying down. It could also just be laying down. It doesn't have to look like, what we typically think when we see meditation. It doesn't have to look like that. You could
Okay.
literally be lying down. Yeah.
Yeah.
So and also another priority is to make sure that your body feels comfortable as possible within your circumstances.
Okay.
Hmm.
And set a time in the beginning, set a time that you maybe, I'm saying and implying with your part that you can stick to. And so when you do a review, you made that minute and then that'll grow. And then the other piece is recognizing with some intentionality that there are benefits for this when you kind of wonder, why am I doing this? And what's
Hmm.
so important about the leaves? It improves. Let me just put the graphic back up. And I mean, physicians, behavioral health providers, gurus, people that move in the space of health and wellness all speak to the benefit of making ways that we may not mentally respond to when life's
Hmm.
is better for us.
Hmm.
I'll be quiet.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you. And um, all of those were great. And to your point about like it's like another thing, like, oh, I didn't do it today, so now it's like the eating better thing or the drinking water thing or the, oh, I didn't do it today, so who cares? Or maybe what's the point? When you think about it, try it. And it's also helpful sometimes to start to pair it in moments where you're about to actually maybe go to sleep, or maybe when you're waking up in the morning, because we're already in a state, in a different, we're either moving into a different state of consciousness when we go to sleep, or we're waking up from it in the morning. So if those times, I know it's kind of tough to say, ooh, I have to set up my time, where like in the morning, I need to maybe wake up a few minutes earlier, and that can be a lot for some people. And also to say, hey, I'm going to stop the dome scrolling, is that what it is, scrolling, and stop it for a moment so that I can actually go to sleep of like with more intention. So try to pair it at times where you're already going to be slower paced, like in the beginning, because then that way it's like, okay, it's just a couple more minutes before I go to sleep, maybe after you brush your teeth, or maybe it's starting in the shower, maybe it's noticing the temperature of the water and how it feels for the water to be on your skin and on your body. Maybe it's, you know what I'm saying? So it
Yep.
could be in the car, maybe it's in the car, and just, I know we tend to, I know for me, I'm always listening to something for the most part, or looking at where we're going if the GPS is on. So it can maybe be before you get out of the car. Let me give myself a second before I get out of the car, right? Or when you're going from one thing to the next, maybe there's a pause in between where you literally just notice where you're seated and where you're sitting, and notice your posture, for example. It's all these little things that then will eventually add up. And like I said, many of us that are on this journey of just practicing and making that a priority in our lives, we tend to then crave that space more and more because of how much our lives improve because of it. And it's in the little moments. It's in choosing to drink the extra water. Or again, like I said earlier, when we're having a tough conversation with someone, like, oh, I didn't get as activated by this conversation or as triggered by it as I usually would, right? It's this building of the capacity to, again, to do the harder things. And I promise you that the 1 minute will add up. And for some folks, it's really great to just start with guided meditations. Imagine, and I can share that as well. I'm on Insight Timer, if you've ever heard of it. It is a timer. So if you set it's there, it's like they have different bells and things like that where you set the timer. It's a meditation app, and then it keeps track of how many days you've meditated for how long. It's like millions of people at this point that are on there, and it's a great way, it's a great tool. And then there's a huge arsenal of guided meditations, whether it's for better sleep, whether it's to calm nerves, whether it's a somatic practice, which I have on there. There's so many ways that you can just choose one. Maybe it's a 5 minute calming meditation, and you might notice that you drift off to sleep while you're doing it. Great. Your body needed more rest and you fell asleep. That's amazing. One of the teachers I have on Insight Timer will say,
Hold
it
on,
is
hold on, time out. Did you say it was okay if you're in a meditation and you fall asleep?
absolutely,
I would
absolutely.
consider that a fail. Me, because
So
I'm looking
one of my mentors, is she's an incredible human being, and she's just, oh my goodness, Sheila Donovan, shout out to you. And she when we learned how to practice transcendental meditation, which is a form of meditation that you go in and it's a whole process. And she had already done this by the time I did, and now these sittings for meditation are about 20 minutes long, and you do it twice a day. And she goes, and when we were really heavy in that practice, I'd be like, how was it? How'd it go today? We would keep each other accountable. And this woman she could be my mother. She's much older, and wiser and just phenomenal. And she would be like, Drami, I just practiced my napitation.
and
Like, excuse me? What did you just say?
wait,
And this is
so
like, we're talking like 2015. So this is a minute ago. I said, not a napitation, Sheila. Absolutely. She's like, I was so calm. I was so in it. And I'm like, congratulations. This woman would not stop. She's ran so many marathons, more than I can count. She is a person, the definition of go, go, go. And for her to fall asleep during a meditation in the middle of her day it's a miracle. It's phenomenal. And then she would wake up and feel restored and like ready for life.
I
So it is
it
okay. And I
it
I I welcome it.
okay. There's just a whole lot going on here. Where you're surfacing some things for me that I need to just and I'm doing better. And as recently as this morning, I'm one of them ones that I went out and took a walk this morning. I'm like, okay, I'm just going to commit to doing this, and I'm going to get up and do it tomorrow. And so I made it for a half hour and whatnot, and we're going to see if it happens tomorrow. Listen, folks, I'm going to try to we're going to take a quick break. Jetta, I got it. I did it. I'm so glad I didn't
And,
say it wrong, because you might have spit out that tea right then and I
and
want
you
to
are, but I love it.
I want to show a video of Pure Spark real quick. I just hit Naisha for this, and so we just doing this sort of right now real quick. And so we're going to
Yay.
take a quick break and just show you some. Let me get this together here real quick. You might just hear a little sound before we really want it queued up. But all right, there we go. All right, folks. Jared, folks know I often try to do stuff in real time.
Mhm.
Sometimes it happens and sometimes it doesn't. But listen, we're going to take a quick break real quick and let you get some information about Pure Spark, and we will be back with you in just a couple of seconds to hear some more from Jetta. And we're going to practice a little bit of meditation. So we're going to do that now. Now, Yisha, this is a 5 minute. So I texted Naisha while you was talking, right? And I said, "Hey, you got a quick MP4?" And I should have because she did ask me to be more specific. I said, "Well, can you
Okay.
send me an MP4?" She sent me a YouTube link, and it's 5 minutes and 42 seconds. And so I'm sure at the beginning she sets the tone of Pure Spark, and I'll figure out where we're going to turn it
Mhm.
off. Come back.
Okay.
Folks, we'll be right back with you in just a couple of seconds.
Hi, my name is Naisha Deed, and I'm the founder of Pure Spark. What is Pure Spark, you're wondering? Well, Pure Spark is a wellness directory developed for Black women here in Massachusetts. At Pure Spark, we look at mental wellness in 3 different parts: mind, body, and soul. I developed it because of my own personal struggles with mental illness. I was actually diagnosed with bipolar disorder in 2017 after working 15 years in corporate America. I was depressed, I was suicidal, and I made several suicide attempts. But I'm here today, and I want to help other women like you along on your journey. Back in 2017, I was working a corporate job, corporate accounting, and I was making 6 figures, and I was on my way up, and I was, I guess, living the dream that most Americans had. I was getting ready to purchase a home. I was just making a lot of strides, right? But they were all monetary. So December 2017, things just started getting really dark for me. Thank God for my family. They saved me. They wouldn't allow me to go the way I was going. They wouldn't allow me to go in that direction I was going to. And they suggested I get serious help. What actually ended up happening was I went to the hospital, and that's where my journey began. And after getting out of the hospital, I went to therapy. And then after going to therapy, I added on yoga, and I was like, oh, wait, there's something interesting going on. Like, I am feeling a lot better. I feel like I have hope now. Like, when I was depressed, y'all, like, the hope was gone. Like, that's where the suicide, right? That's the suicide, right? You lost all hope. What's the point of living if my life is going to continue in this way? But there's hope. You can get better. You can heal. That's what I found out myself. Like, I went through it. I lived through this. I need to share this with other people so that they know that there is hope after being in a dark place.
We're definitely appreciative of Pure Spark and what Naisha is doing. I'm texting her right now and saying this is dope. And I didn't know it was 5 minutes. So we made it work out. That was a good little plug there for Pure Spark. And so, Jetta, as we get ready to wrap up, can we do a quick practice here of something where folks can maybe just walk away with one experience around meditating? I can put you, or if you think it's appropriate for folks to see me do it with you, I was going to say I could put you on full screen so they can get the experience, but maybe us doing it together would be good as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. Awesome. So if you're just for anyone, again, safety is key. So if you're driving, just be mindful. I don't know how folks tune into this. I don't.
A variety. And so if you're driving, we don't want you meditating right now.
Okay. I didn't know if it was accessible through. Yeah. Okay. So whatever you're doing right now, just make sure that you're in a safe environment. Driving is not preferred. Okay. So in this case, you're seated. So wherever you are, for whoever is listening to this right now, take a few moments to get as comfortable as you can in the space that you're in, whether you are laying down or seated, and take some time to do that. So if you have a blanket on you, whatever it is that is there to support you, notice those things, and take a few moments I see you doing things, Jimmy.
I'm just telling the folks.
Let me.
I'm meditating and doing. And so it's funny because auto correct said, I said we're doing it. Auto correct said trying. That is terrible. So I just wanted to let folks know in case they tuned in late. I'm sorry. Okay.
Yeah. Okay. No, you're good. There's no sorries. No sorries. And you're great. I want to make sure that you get the full experience. Yeah.
I'm here.
So once you're in a comfortable place, if your feet are on the ground or wherever your feet are, notice your feet. And oftentimes we tend to close our eyes for meditation, but if you are someone who enjoys or prefers your eyes open for whatever reason, do that, whatever way that feels best for you. And then one of the best ways, or one of the most accessible ways to kind of drop into our bodies, is by tuning into our senses. It's one of the most accessible ways to to drop in, so to speak. So let's begin with our sense of touch. So wherever you are seated, wherever you are laying down, notice all the parts of your body that are making contact with another thing, or a chair, or a bed, maybe the ground. If you're leaning back on a chair, notice your spine, your back against that thing or place. Notice your hands where they are, and maybe they're on your lap, maybe they are together. Wherever your hands are, notice where your hands are and notice anything that you notice about them. Whether it's the temperature, maybe if they're making contact with another body part, notice the warmth, the weight. Notice your shoulders and even where your head is in space. And notice if, like you, Jimmy, if you have a hat on or if you have anything on your head, notice that connection as well. And then shifting to your sense of sound, your hearing. Notice what you can perceive through your ears in the space that you're in. Maybe it's my voice, sounds from outside, or anything in the space that you're in. And then shift to your sense of taste. Anything that you can taste, anything you can perceive through your sense of taste here. And then move through sense of smell. So what can you smell through your nose? And then shift to your eyes, whether your eyes are open or closed. If they're open, maybe notice one thing or a few things that resonate with you right now, something that is catching your eye at this point. If your eyes are closed, you might notice colors or shapes, or maybe people or an image, a memory. And then as you're doing this, bring some attention to your belly. Notice what's happening there, your pelvis, your sit bones. We tend to grip a lot in this area, so as much as you can, allow yourself to soften in this area. So if you're holding your belly, or maybe there's like a just tension there in general, see if you can let it go a little bit. And you might place your hands there to support that connection. And then one thing I always will ask in anytime I'm in space with other people and sharing these practices is, what is it that you would like to replenish today in your day, during your day? How is it that you want to feel throughout this day, maybe the rest of your week, this new month that we're in? And it's usually whatever comes to mind first. And then as you're doing this, start to notice the pace of your breath. Like Jimmy referenced earlier, notice the temperature of your breath as it moves through your body, or in through your body and through your nose, preferably if you're able to. And notice the temperature as you breathe out and let it go. And then imagining that you have 3 centers in your body, in your torso. So starting at the base of your pelvis, so below your navel. I like to imagine them like balloons. And then there's another one right in the center of your torso, your solar plexus. And the third one is in your chest. And every single time you inhale, you don't have to get this quote unquote right. There's no wrong way to do this. But the next time you inhale, imagine that you could fill these 3 centers, these 3 balloons with breath. So starting at the base, filling up through the center, and then finally your heart, chest space. And with an open mouth, you're going to exhale all of your air. Think ha sound. And then again, we're going to inhale, fill yourself up with breath as much as you can. And then open mouth and exhale, ha. Yeah, let's do a couple more like that. You might notice a softening within your body, maybe the shoulders, your face, the jaw. Big, slow breath in. Open mouth, exhale. And then maybe continue to do this with your mouth closed for a few rounds. If counting is supportive to you, you might count to a count of 5 as you inhale. If there's a lot happening for you mentally, you can make your exhales a little bit longer. Maybe it's like a 6 or 7 count. And there's this very gentle, soft whisper at the back of your throat. So a breathing technique that really can support us in this practice is cultivating as if you were fogging up a mirror or maybe blowing out a candle, but with your mouth closed. So it's like a very soft, gentle whisper. Kind of mimics the sound of the ocean. Notice as you're doing this, where in your body you're feeling a little bit more at ease. Maybe there's a little bit more spaciousness. And we'll do a couple more breaths like this together. Slow and steady on the inhale, filling yourself up with breath. And exhale and soften as you let go. Two more times like that, breathing in and breathing out. And last one together. Inhale. And big exhale. If your eyes are closed, blink your eyes open and start to look around the space that you're in. And let your eyes wander a bit. Yeah. Notice what grabs your attention. And then notice for a moment just how you're feeling internally. And when you're ready, yeah. Hi. You did it. Thank you for doing this with me.
This was good. Some of the things around breathing, the softness, I notice people dealing with PTSD, with which I've been diagnosed, my shoulders are always up. We're always walking like it's cold. And I notice when I breathe, when I exhale, I literally always feel my shoulders going down more. And so the interesting thing was, you had did one breathing exercise, and I guess I activated some muscles that hadn't moved in a while. When I tell you, my body said, "Ah!" I'm sitting up. I know folks are going to comment that we're watching. I went in all type. Oh, I went in all type of systems. I'm like, oh Jesus. So no, this was. I mean, I actually not. I'll be honest, and not full 100% participation. Just watching.
Yeah, you're doing your thing. Yeah.
That are commenting that unless they knew to the show, asking what we doing, everybody else that was on here should have not been typing. I'm just going to say that. No, I'm messing. But I feel more calm. I feel, just a little bit more relaxed. Like almost for me, meditation often I pull on it for a reset, either when I am totally stressed or I have to kind of get ready to shift the brain into a whole different space or focus. And so some things that were very familiar. I just wanted to shout out. We got City Councilor Brian Worrell on, Naisha from Pure Spark. is on as well. And so we were able to make the commercial work nice. So thank you. But Jada, this was very this was good. This was good. And I will ask you or Naisha to please email us when you're doing a session. And I just wanted to highlight in her title on the wow, I ain't never been this calm getting ready to end up in her title.
I just want to point out that whatever was it that came up, take a moment today to just jot that down, whether it's in your phone or a journal or wherever, and notice that. And then when you're practicing again, notice if it comes up again. And yeah, so that's something to notice for sure and to keep track of. And writing can also be another form of meditation for sure, if that's something that supports folks, especially like in the morning, without even thinking too much about it. Yeah. Just wanted to note that.
No, this was good. This was good.
Yeah.
So I'm going to take a commercial break so I can reset and get back into hosting. And I seriously thank you so much for kicking off our Mental Health Monday in partnership with Pure Spark for Mental Health Awareness Month. This was very, very good. I'm just going to go and check some of the comments post our practice together. Pam said, Pam said, I definitely realized what was happening, putting myself in. Pam, it's okay. We know. Miss Teresa said, thank you. Shonda said, meditation definitely helps you relax. Pam said, needed this. Mama Java, well,
I'm hungry. Okay.
I'm 2 years older. My mother still makes me go, Ma. Okay, Ma, go grab something to eat. All right.
Your mom?
Shonda, yeah, my mother is that's Mama Java.
Oh.
She's in here. She's the one be calling people out while she was supposed to be meditating and hits about hi as soon as they pop up on the screen. Ma, you supposed to be meditating. But Sister Soraya said, well worth it. And Shonda said she's hosting a mental health brunch. Can I post the please post Jada's information, post this episode, do whatever you need to do to post to help folks understand the importance of meditation. This was really good. This exceeded I had great expectations because of Aisha and just kind of, seeing you and Anissa go back and forth. This was really good. And so we appreciate you spending your time with us this morning. And you are local, right, to here in Boston?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I actually teach in the North End every Sunday, and I also host events. And I'm on Insight Timer. So download that meditation app. It's really great. Insight Timer. And I have a bunch of meditations on there. So there's a 5-minute one. There's like a 20-minute one. Maybe that'll be the challenge for maybe through the end of this month. I promise you it doesn't feel like that long when we're doing it. So yeah, check it out. And I'm also a doula and do work with a lot of families here in the city. And yeah.
There's a young lady. I can't remember her name. I think she's out of Georgia. I'll ask Anissa to send you the link for the episode. Oh, y'all need to connect. Oh yeah. My, she was a doula. And I think last month was maternal health awareness month, or is it this month?
Yeah.
It was last month.
It was last month. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay. And yeah, we definitely need to get you two connected because y'all would do some things nationally. So
amazing. And I also see private clients. So if any of this feels a little daunting in a community space, you can always book with me online or in person. And yeah, we can work up to whatever it is that you would like to see yourself practicing, right? So whether it's just having a conversation about it and discussing things that come up as you're practicing. I do somatic work, which is also another resource in really supporting the body through healing. And yeah, reach out, DM me, message me, email me. I'm here.
Everything is somebody ended up having a napitation.
Napitation, yeah.
Napitation. Sharon, I'm gonna get you off of here, Jada, but thank you so much for being here.
Thank you.
Folks, we're going to take a quick commercial break. And don't forget this is where you can get all the information, find out the book, follow her, see stories and reels and just different things that she posts over on Instagram. So Yera, thank you for being here. And once again, thank you to Naisha that's listening over on Instagram. Thank you so much.
Amazing. Thank you, Jeremy. Take care. I'll talk to you soon.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
You're welcome.
Folks, that was, yeah, I mean, it's so easily because already my brain is back to what's coming next after the show. So Monday is the day off. But this was good. This was really, really good. Just want to get up our queue up our guests for tomorrow. I am excited tomorrow to have Pam is coming in tomorrow at 9 a.m. She's a Java family member. She is no stranger to the Java Cafe at all. And she's coming in to talk about the great event that we're canceling the show for on Thursday. She's coming in to talk about the great event that she's having on Tuesday, May 9th. Wednesday. Pam, when is this is terrible. I thought it was I guess it's the 9th. Maybe it's Pam is coming in tomorrow. She's going to tell us what day her event is. I think she's still in here. Okay. And Shonda is having a brunch on May 25th at the Bruce Boland Building in Roxbury at 6. I'll get back to that in a second. I'm sorry. I thought Pam was still. Let me stay focused, y'all. I'm really this was good. I ain't never been this relaxed. And to you UCBers, y'all get y'all little 90 minutes today. It's 10:11. Back to what I was saying. Pam is coming in the 9 a.m. hour, and then also we're having Maurice Emmanuel Parent, who is a director of A Strange Loop, who is which is a play that's active here in Boston right now, and we're getting ready to do some things with them very, very soon. So Pam at 9 and Maurice at 9:30 a.m. That is tomorrow morning. And on Wednesday, I don't have the flyer right here, but we'll let you know tomorrow who's coming in on Wednesday. Don't forget, we will not have a show on Thursday. We will go live here and there from Pam's event, or I may just hop on at 8 for a few minutes. We'll let you know. The last thing I wanted to mention to everyone is please do not forget the registrations are coming in. We're just about halfway there with registrations. If you're trying to be one of the first 100 people that if you pre-register before, and I'm probably going to close this off on Thursday. If you pre-register before Thursday and are of the first 100 and also show up at the health fair, the first 50 of the first 100 that pre-register, you're automatically entered into a raffle to receive a $100 Stop and Shop gift card. I also will go ahead and spill the beans right now. I want to give a big applause to Dr. Rick Lee from Massachusetts General Hospital in the cancer center there. Dr. Lee is an individual, is invested in this platform along with Dr. Joseph Betancourt, by whom we've named the health fair. He worked very hard. And so I am glad to announce that thanks to the sponsorship of Johnson & Johnson and Bayer, we're going to do some great things on Saturday. I'm giving out a whole bunch of stuff on Saturday, but you got to be there. So plan on coming to the health fair Saturday from 11 to 3 p.m. There's going to be free food, snacks, raffles, giveaways. We have a live DJ. Jeff 2 times will be there with us. And yeah, come out on Saturday. If you came to the health fair before, you all know that Asia, I don't know if she's still on. She walked out with, I think, $800 total, $500 for a flat screen TV, and then $200. Asia won a lot last year. Her name came out twice. And so we're giving away a lot of information. Most importantly, the health information that you need will be there. We have physicians, wellness providers, nurses, physician assistants, therapists, like physical therapy, dentists, healthcare wellness providers, initiatives that are moving for health equity. All those folks are going to be there. So please plan on coming. I will let folks know I'm probably going to be in and out, meaning that I won't be able to, I'm going to be all over the place. And so not as able to be as engaging at our other events because there's a lot to get done and a lot to do. And I think I forgot which one. Johnson & Johnson's bringing like 10, 12 people. So we'll hear from them also with Bear. We also want to name the new Commonwealth Fund and Makiba McQuarrie, who has made an investment in the Java Cafe and also around this health fair and just the support. And also there's Dr. Betancourt and the Commonwealth Fund that has supported us since he's left Massachusetts General Hospital. So please plan on coming out this Saturday. When you spread the word, tag folks, get them to register, send them the link. We need to pack that place out just like we did last year. All right. That's it for me this morning. We will be here tomorrow morning with Pam. Everybody have a great morning. Again, UCB, you all get 90 minutes. It is 10:15. So you all get 90 minutes for your points over there. And I think that is it. We will be back with collaboration with Pure Spark next week. And through that partnership, we will have another mental health provider here sharing some information with us. So I'm excited about that. Naisha, thank you for all that you do in community and how you've allowed Pure Spark to evolve to be such a great resource to our community. So Asia, make sure you hit up Pure Spark and she will get you connected with a BIPOC provider. All right. We'll see you guys tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. Have a great day, everybody. We'll talk to you soon. Peace.